We're going to offer a different perspective now on beauty pageantry, what it is to use a platform for good, being an ambassador and elevating social causes. Our next guest is also a volunteer with Save Our Homeless in Dundalk and the Hygiene Hub in Louth, and was recently crowned Miss Ireland earlier this year. Please welcome. Why is it? I saw Cliff coming towards me. I sat up straight there, and the shoulders were back. It's not about the posture. I can tell you the internal dialogue I was having with myself this morning as I got ready. Cliva saying to myself, "I'm interviewing a beauty queen." Oh, not at all. But now I have to explain how you're here today.
Yes.
So aerial dancing and silks. And please explain, this is how you know Joanne Callan.
Mm-hmm. So you might think we're crazy. You might see us flying around in the ceiling. Sometimes I met Joanne in Elevate in Dundalk. We both do aerial hoop together. So if you're not sure what that is, if you've ever seen, in the circus where they're on the ring doing sort of acrobatics, that's how I met Joanne. So most of our conversations happen when we're hanging upside down. But that's how I met Joanne, and we would always get told off for talking too much in class. So that's where I met Joanne. And then when she mentioned this event to me today, it was really special because I'm actually from a small town in County Donegal called Buncrana. So I live very close to Derry, where of course Richard Moore is from. And growing up, I would have known that my dad had great connections with Children in Crossfire. I remember when I was younger, and he told me, "I'm going to zip line across the River Foyle." I was like, "What? Zip line across the River Foyle?" He was doing it for charity, Native Children Crossfire. So that's why I really wanted to be here today. It's a really important charity and such a special event, and it's nice to be associated with things that come from Derry, where I grew up quite close to.
Oh, there we go. There was a lovely connection we didn't know about. And I'm just kind of looking up here and wondering, are we going to put the hoop that's coming in? That's an hour time,
Trust me, Caoimhe is a much more performance queen than I am.
Just an idea. But there's so many strings to your bow, and we'll talk about that. But Miss Ireland, you're wearing your sash here today. I'd say that's celebrating 77 years.
Yeah.
Why did you want to enter Miss Ireland?
Oh, there's so many different reasons why I wanted to enter, but I suppose growing up when I was a young girl, and I would have always seen Miss Ireland as maybe this powerful figure, a role model, and when you're younger, you almost see them as they are like a princess. But then as I got older, I realised that these are small town women that have really made incredible careers for themselves from being Miss Ireland, and they've done incredible work in their communities for their country with charity and lots of different causes. And I was having a conversation actually earlier today about my why, and I think I really wanted to push myself to do something extraordinary. And I was lying in bed one night, no word of a lie, and I was lying in bed one night and I sort of said, what can I do that's out there? What can I do that I feel that I thought it might not be possible for me, and something I've always wanted to be was a Miss Ireland. So I just took out the phone. It was probably about 2 o'clock in the morning. Just sent my application through the phone, went to bed, went to sleep, didn't think about it, and that was that. So I entered and won.
And here you are.
Yeah.
Take from within to do something like that, because Miss Ireland, the possibly the understanding of the beauty pageantry is that it's all the outside judged on the exterior, but something within you made you do this, and also you were bound to have known, particularly now in the world where we live with social media and everything's judged. People are so judgmental, unfortunately, that would be a side of things that you would have to deal with, and if you put yourself out there in any sort of way, you need to be prepared to deal with that ugly side of life.
Yeah, absolutely. And I am a firm believer that beauty is judged by your kindness, And I think for that stage of my life, I really felt like I was ready. I was happy within myself, and in a comfortable place with myself, that I felt I could take that next step further and do something different. I do feel like you probably have to be in a good headspace to take that next step. You do have to be ready for whatever criticism might come your way. I remember when I was going to announce on social media that I was entering Miss Ireland, I was really scared, I was really nervous, I was thinking, oh my god, but you have to let those thoughts disappear, because if you're going to try and represent your country at Miss Ireland, you can't let those things affect you. So I remember I posted it on social media, and all I got was support, and people that I hadn't have talked to in years just messaging me being like, this is amazing, I'm so happy for you. And then all that fear went away, and I was this is why I'm doing it. It's a thing to be proud of, not a thing to be afraid of. And I think no matter what you do in life, you're going to get people that are going to criticize you and have negative things to say, so you got to let the positivity take over.
And do you think, because your father, you're growing up with your father's Stephen Kenny, former Republic of Ireland manager, so he is used to being in a spotlight, but that level also he can weigh up criticism, there's praise and criticism in equal measure coming at someone with that kind of profile and position. Watching him put himself out there, did that influence you in any way or help you to make a decision to go forward?
I think it probably maybe gave me a bit of an advantage in preparation, that I've seen how cruel people can be, but also how supportive and uplifting people can be. It sort of prepared me for the media as well. I think, I've seen him have words twisted. He'd be reading the paper, I never said that. But I think it definitely prepared me, and seeing him handle that with just taking it in a stride and just focusing on what was next for him rather than the noise that was going on elsewhere in the media or whatnot. So I definitely think it helped me prepare for that environment and that industry, and seeing what it's really like.
Yeah, I think that's really good advice for anybody who's trying to put themselves out there in any sort of way, is focus on you and drown out the noise.
Yeah, which is hard.
It's so hard. It's so hard, especially in the world we live in, where everybody's got an opinion on everything, and
it's not just the journalists anymore.
No, it's not. And keyboard warriors are all anonymous as well, which doesn't help. But let's focus on the positive of this, because it clearly has given you life to have, not just to have entered this competition, but to also have won it. So how has it changed life for you becoming Miss Ireland?
Well, it hasn't changed too much. I still work my 9 to 5. I get on the Matthews bus at 6 in the morning, go down to Dublin for my job, and then at the evenings and the weekends it's all Miss Ireland. But I'm delighted to dedicate my time to that. It's 1 year, and it's something I really wanted to do. So in aspects, it's changed my life in terms of I get to be at such special events like this one and have the opportunity to speak and have my voice heard, and I meet so many incredible and inspiring people, so it's changed in that aspect, and it's changed that I suppose I feel very driven and motivated and have a lot of self-belief now that anything is possible.
That's brilliant. And you mentioned there using your platform, my gosh, you're involved in so many different things. Like I've already mentioned there, the Save Our Homeless in Dundalk and the Hygiene Hub as well, and you're very dedicated to sustainable fashion. Tell me about your time working at Junkature, because you attended the Oscar Wilde Awards in LA, wearing a dress made from plastic created by teenage students. Why did you follow the path of sustainable fashion?
So Junkature, I'm not sure if anyone's familiar with it. It's a program in schools that they challenge students to create fashion from 100% recycled materials. And growing up, it would have been in my school in Buncrana, and the CEO of Junkature is actually originally from Buncrana. So this really interested me, and I was seeing them, doing a lot of stuff global, and it seemed like a really cool company. So I just picked up my phone one day, messaged the CEO on Instagram, and said I'd love to work. This is what you just have to. You just have to put your pride aside and do these things sometimes. And I got an internship very, very luckily, and it all worked from there, and I had the opportunity to travel around Ireland and internationally, speaking with young people, educating them on sustainable fashion and how they can use their creativity to express themselves. And I learned a lot through that work as well. I learned a lot about the imagination of young people and how there's no boundaries to their imaginations. I think as you get older, you're told more and more that's not possible, but young people, they believe anything's possible. So I learned a lot from that as well. But yeah, Junketeur is amazing. You should definitely check it out if you have any young people at home that are creative and interested in sustainability.
I know we were talking about this at the table earlier on, and in terms of sustainable fashion, it's basically make, do and mend. Maybe take the buttons off and add fancier ones.
Yeah.
Embellish maybe items that you already have in your wardrobe, but like you say, use the creativity, and also there's a freedom of expression then, and a different style where we don't all look like clones of each other if you have adapted the clothes to suit you
absolutely
personally.
And each student that creates their piece has a story. Some of them they might love sport, so their outfit is a representation of sport, or some student might want to raise awareness for mental health, so their design, the message behind it is about mental health, and it's symbolic of that. So really they totally have creative freedom and can express themselves and create whatever they want. But it's a great program, and I loved being a part of that company for 2 years.
So 2 years, that's a small part of your journey. So the Matthews bus you mentioned there, jumping on, there's an image in my head. The bus driver has not a clue, it's Miss Ireland getting on the bus here every morning, and away she goes. And so your feet seem to be firmly on the ground, Caoimhe. Is that a very important part of the person you are?
I think so. I think, growing up, like I got my first job when I was 15 years old. I worked, I remember I came home to my mum and I said, I got a job. She said, where? I said, in a pub. All right, you're going to be like a lounge girl. I was like, no, I'm working behind the bar. So that was in Buncrana. I don't know if how legal that was, but so since a young age, I've learned the importance of making your own money, looking after yourself, and my family keep me truly humbled along the way. So
that's brilliant, and your own independence also. But your job at the minute, you're a buying assistant in Brown Thomas.
Buying assistant in Brown Thomas. So I studied fashion buying and merchandising in college, and then I went on to Junketeur, and then I said, oh well, let me test that out and put my qualification to use, and in Brown Thomas and Ireland's now in the beauty buying department. So it's not as glamorous as it sounds. It's a lot of Excel spreadsheets and data admin, but it's an incredible obviously heritage brand to work for. Brown Thomas is 175 years old.
Oh wow.
So it's it's a great company to work for.
But what does your job entail though? Because you're checking out the most wanted brands. We've a room full mostly of women here who are using makeup on a daily basis, hair products, all these different things. And it's basically, am I right in understanding that it's your job to find the next big thing?
That's exactly it. So what my job looks like is looking at what's trending, what's going to be the next trend. So you're kind of always thinking ahead, thinking what the customer wants before they want it. But it's definitely changed since TikTok has came around. I have to say TikTok has definitely changed the game. We're trying to catch up with trends that they happen so quickly. Just looking at trends, seeing what products and brands are up and coming, that people want, and selecting that assortment of product that will be sold in the store. So looking at a brand might send you, we've got 50 lipsticks, so you're going to maybe pick like the 10 that are going to be the best seller in the store, and different things like that. So it is really interesting, and I get to work with a lot of brands that I actually use their products before I worked there, so that's a really cool part of it as well.
There's a lot of power there, Caoimhe. There's a lot of power. Would you like to give us the inside track, and maybe a wee brand that's going to be up and coming, maybe we'll see trending on TikTok or something over the next wee while?
Well, I think which is really nice to mention is that our Irish brands do incredibly well. People love to shop Irish. Like, you know, we've got Pogo Beauty, which is Pip O'Connor's brand, sculpted by Amy. You know, they're really successful brands. I think people generally love. They really relate to Irish founders and Irish creators of their own brands and want to support that success. And they're also very good. The products really do work. What we're seeing though now coming up is Korean beauty, so Korean skincare. My whole skincare routine has changed now to a Korean skincare routine. So that is the latest trend that we're seeing. It's just really innovative materials and products, you know, like they use things like snail mucin for your face and lots of lovely ingredients.
We went into the garden then, didn't we?
Biodiversity.
We did right.
Go into Joanne's garden and you might find a few ingredients.
I've just got this vision of snails in your face. Have we walk around there? Have we walk around work magic? But in that context, this is what you work on day and daily, right? And I've seen, you know, the trends. It's overwhelming. There's so much coming at you. But I suppose with that comes an excitement whenever you are at your end of it. You know, whenever you're seeing that you're almost responsible for the next big thing, and if it takes off, you're the person who spotted it. You know, is that very rewarding?
It is rewarding when you see something that you've brought in that the customers do love. It makes your job all worth it. Then that's the nice part when you see something that you've contributed to have success. That definitely is a good feeling.
And also,
but there also is the other end. There's also things that you think will do well that don't do well. So there's two ends of that.
There has to be.
Yeah.
With what you mentioned there about sculpted by Amy and the Irish brands, we're seeing that more and more, and women particularly who have started maybe makeup or skincare literally at the kitchen table, and now it's not only well sold right throughout the country but internationally as well. It's quite incredible what's going on. Things like that, when you can be, it's very empowering. Are you seeing that domino effect happening within the industry where, you know, it's almost giving people agency and confidence to try different things?
Definitely, and I think, you know, we would all already think, the market's saturated. If I started up a brand, sure, it wouldn't do well. There's already too many competitors. I think these, you know, the likes of Amy Conley, they've shown us that no, there is space. There is space for more entrepreneurs. There is space for new businesses, and there's something for everyone. And there's definitely customers there. But absolutely, I definitely think it's inspiring to see women and men from where you're from create their own success, you know, not being limited to where you come from and thinking, oh well sure, I'm only from a small town in Ireland, I wouldn't be able to be a global you know, business owner or CEO. But it is possible. You see your neighbours do it, you see people not too far from you.
And recognising, as Francis was saying, the hard yards that need to be put in order to make it happen as well. So what about yourself then, with the, you know, beauty routines, all of that? Do you feel under pressure to look and present yourself in a particular way, particularly now that you're Miss Ireland?
I wouldn't say I feel under pressure. I would typically, anyways, have always been interested in style and makeup and beauty and things like that. But you know, it makes me feel good. It makes me feel good. I don't feel pressure, but I suppose you do feel it's nice to step out and feel the best version of yourself. And this is what helps me feel like the best version of myself, is when I, you know, I'm wearing a nice outfit and hair done and might have my makeup on, but I still wear tracksuits, I still wear leggings, I still, you know.
Would you go to the shop for a pint of milk in your jammies?
Suddenly start to realise that you can't go. I still do, yeah, of course. I'm not dolled up all the time, definitely not.
So, and then how do you mind yourself? How do you look after yourself? Because what you've described there, you're working at the weekends with your Miss Ireland duties. You're up at 6 o'clock in the morning to go to Dublin on the bus every day. That's relentless. You have a busy job. You have to be turned out in a particular way. All of that takes headspace, energy. And how do you mind yourself?
I think I'm still on that journey, and I'm still learning how I can mentally keep myself well, because obviously I was crowned in June. It's still very new for me, so I'm still on that journey of learning how to cope with all the new events and different things. But what I do find is sticking with your hobbies and the things that you love. As I said, go to Elevate, I do the silks and the hoop, and I like going to Pilates and I do ballet as well, and not giving that up, keeping that as my outlet, and also making sure that you do have an evening or a day to say, right, I'm going to just rot in bed and watch some TV and yeah.
That was going to be my next question. Do you sleep at all, or?
I actually love sleep. I love my sleep, but I do say though, if this is a year where I just don't know what a day off is, then so be it. It's 1 year of my life, and I'm just going to give it everything that I have.
I hear you, and I suppose if you've got that idea in your head that it's coming to an end at a certain point, that's grand.
I don't want to look back and say, oh, I'm not going to look back and say, thank God I got that extra hour in bed, like, or thank God I got that weekend off. I'm not going to remember that. So
I think no one would disagree with that, because when you're young, you've got the energy to do it. Go for it.
Yeah,
absolutely go for it and do it. I'm not looking back at all. So then the ballet, dance, talk to me about dancing, because that's a very, very important outlet for you.
Yeah, I've been dancing since I'm 5 years old. I started with ballet and then did a bit of tap and acrobatics and a few different dance forms. But dance is something that has taught me resilience and dedication and commitment, and probably why I am Miss Ireland today, because, you know, I would have grown up and my dancing was on a Friday evening. I would have missed a lot of discos with my friends, a lot of going up the town with my friends after school, because I always had to be at dance. So it's definitely taught me incredibly important life lessons that I've carried right into adulthood. And another thing that I often do talk about as well is that I think we all have these hobbies when we're younger, whether it be football, whether it be dance, and somewhere along the line when we start becoming a teenager, we stop or we get a bit too busy with work, we don't have time to do it. I really believe that hang on to our hobbies and our passions, cherish them, don't give up, find the time, keep going. It really is important to, you know, keep that part of yourself.
Yeah, I think you're so true. It's so true there, because you can let other things fill your time for you, and you don't take time for yourself.
And it's never too late to go back either. You know, I gave up ballet when I was doing my leaving cert, and because I just recently moved to Dundalk, and it was you know, I just felt like I had a lot on, and then I went back just before Christmas last year, so at 24. So, you know, definitely you can go back to your hobbies, and I think we are seeing a new wave of people, adults, taking up new hobbies, which I love to see. It's brilliant.
Yes, it's never too late. And then just tell me about your work as a volunteer and that volunteering as well. So the hobbies are important. You know, volunteering, you hear about the helpers high, about how much you get out of giving, helping. So you particularly work with Save Our Homeless in Dundalk and the Hygiene Hub in Louth. Why those two organisations particularly?
Yeah, I think I've learned throughout my life, you know, I've grown up surrounded by kindness. You know, I would have seen my dad be involved with, you know, doing things for like Children Crossfire, involved with the homeless street leagues. My mum used to deliver Meals on Wheels. I've kind of grown up and seen that kindness, but I've realised that seeing something and acting on it are two different things. And, you know, for me, I think everybody has a responsibility to contribute positively to society in that way, and there are so many people that need our help, and so many incredible organisations and charities that need the man support. They need the extra set of hands. But like, I would go up to Sonia and Save Our Homeless sometimes, and she would just say, I have a room upstairs that needs read out or cleaned. She doesn't have the time to do that. So I'm like, right, okay, I'll do that. Like, I'll grab my friend and we'll put some music on and we'll clear out the room. You know, it's those little things to help the people as well that are doing all the incredible work on the ground. But I chose Save Our Homeless Dundalk because I looked at charities. Mary and Save Our Homeless Dundalk is a real community-led charity. It's founded by a woman called Sonia Van Kalkeren, an absolutely incredible woman. And when I had a conversation with her, she talked to me about how she was in that position, and she said, you know, if it can happen to anyone, and in that moment, you know, if it can happen to anyone, then help must come from everyone. You know, we are closer to being homeless than we are to being rich and millionaires, you know, so we have to be there and support the people that need it the most. And then through that, Hygiene Hub, I met them at an event where I was speaking about Sabre Homeless Dundalk and the work that they do, and I met one of the founders of Hygiene Hub. So Hygiene Hub is a national charity, and they provide essential hygiene items to community partners, so to charities, and these charities then distribute these hygiene items. So their belief is that hygiene isn't a luxury, it's a basic human right, and nobody should have to choose between, you know, am I going to put food on the table, am I going to pay my rent, or am I going to buy a bottle of shampoo or a bottle of body wash? That should be a basic human right. You shouldn't have that thought, but unfortunately in today's world, that is the situation we find ourselves in. So for me, it's really important to work with these charities that are driving that change and to see what I can do to help.
Well, if you, as everybody says, if you want something done, ask the busy person. And it seems that is the case for you, because you're managing to do so much and contribute in so many ways. And also, I know you're from Buncrana, have moved to Dundalk. There is, you were saying, for leaving cert, but Dundalk, what is it? It seems to be having a bit of a moment at the minute, like. There's obviously we've known about the Cores for quite some time, and then they made a comeback, and then there's the Wallopers, there's Jinx Lennon. In terms of football, it's Stephen Staunton, your daddy, now contributing to the local landscape, even Live doing well in football. Like, what's going on? Is it just now? Is it contagious? Is it success for Dundalk and Live?
I think it is. It must be contagious. But I think it's great to look at where you come from and see that there is so much success and inspirational people, as you said, like musicians and different actors and sports people, and it's great up the wee county, you know.
It's good now for you. You've got that.
I was Miss Louth when I won Miss Ireland, so I'm from Donegal, but I moved down here at 16, and it very quickly became my home, and there's a real sense of community around here, not just in Dundalk, but also it extends out to Newry, and there is a real sense of community that reminds me of where I come from, Buncrana as well, and it's just the warmth of the people, and it's a really nice place to community to be part of.
It's a beautiful part of the world indeed, and you've tapped into it, but also you're contributing hugely to the area and the community yourself. So what's next then on the Miss Ireland journey? Is it Miss World, Miss Universe? What's
Miss
the next
World.
step?
So Miss Ireland, you go to represent Ireland at Miss World. So Miss World will be next year. It's to be confirmed where it's going to be and when it's going to be, but just the honour and privilege that I get to go and represent my country, represent your country at anything is an achievement, and to represent Ireland over at Miss World, I couldn't be prouder. And I hope to bring the warmth of our people, the richness of our culture, and the strength of our heritage, and showcase that to the world.
I think no better representative could we have had. Thank you.